I just got tagged in my first ever book tag. Let's see how that goes. Welcome back to BG's Books. I'm Mr. BG, and today I am going to do a little bit of a different video than what I'm doing now. So, of course, most of my videos as of late have been book reviews, but today that's going to change a little bit. So, the other day I was tagged in a book tag challenge called the Quick to Judge Challenge, and I was tagged by Jessica from Jess Book Girl TV. So thank you, Jessica, for tagging me. And basically, I didn't know what this book tag was. I've seen like videos of book tags before, and I didn't know what this one was, the Quick to Judge Challenge. But so after I saw Jessica's video on it, basically what it is it appears that you choose 5 to 10 books, which I have 5 right below me. And then you read aloud the first paragraph of each of those books, and then you just kind of rank them based on how cool they seem from the first paragraph. So yeah, that sounds super interesting, and without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so the first book I've selected is Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut. I think that's how you say it. And the first paragraph goes as follows. All this happened, more or less. The war parts, anyway, are pretty much true. One guy I knew really was shot in Dresden for taking a teapot that wasn't his. Another guy I knew really did threaten to have his personal enemies killed by hired gunmen after the war, and so on. I've changed all the names. So yeah, that was the opening paragraph to Slaughterhouse-Five. I do know that this book is like an anti-war book. It's one of those like famous anti-war books written, I think. So that certainly is quite the hook, and I'm very excited to read that eventually. Okay, and the second book I have is The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, and this first paragraph goes as follows. No live organism can continue for long to exist sanely under conditions of absolute reality. Even larks and katydids are supposed by some to dream. Hill House, not sane, stood by itself against its hills, holding darkness within. It had stood so for 80 years and might stand for 80 more. Within, walls continued upright, bricks met neatly, floors were firm, and doors were sensibly shut. Silence lay steadily against the wood and stone of Hill House, and whatever walked there walked alone. So that is certainly interesting. And of course, because the book is called The Haunting of Hill House, it's obviously about a haunted house, or at least that's what it seems like from the title. But that is certainly a very interesting look at what the house kind of looks like, at least on the inside. And yeah, so I will put that on the reading list eventually. All right, so the third book I have chosen is H.G. Wells's The Invisible Man. And after skipping a brief introduction, the actual first paragraph goes as follows. The stranger came early in February, one wintry day, through a biting wind and a driving snow. The last snowfall of the year, over the down, walking as it seemed from Bramblehurst railway station, and carrying a little black portmanteau in his thickly gloved hand. He was wrapped up from head to foot, and the brim of his soft felt hat hid every inch of his face but the shiny tip of his nose. The snow had piled itself against his shoulders and chest and added a white crest to the burden he carried. He staggered into the coach and horses, more dead than alive as it seemed, and flung his portmanteau down. A fire, he cried, in the name of human charity, a room and a fire. He stamped and shook the snow from off himself and the bar, and followed Mrs. Hall into her guest parlor to strike his bargain. And with that much introduction, that in a ready acquiescence to terms and a couple of sovereigns flung upon the table, he took up his quarters in the inn. So, yeah, of course, that was very interesting, and of course it is called The Invisible Man, so obviously this stranger is not visible, he is invisible. And yeah, I've been wanting to read The Invisible Man for a long time, and yeah, so I just really want to get to this. Very good, though. Okay, so the third book I've selected fourth is Bram Stoker's Dracula, a very classic vampire novel. In fact, one of the first ever vampire novels. And after skipping a quite considerable introduction to all that stuff, the first paragraph goes as follows. 3 May Bistrist left Munich at 8:55 p.m. on 1st May, arriving at Vienna early next morning. Should have arrived at 6:46, but train was an hour late. Budapest seems a wonderful place from the glimpse which I got of it from the train and the little I could walk through the streets. I feared to go very far from the station, as we had arrived late and would start as near the correct time as possible. The impression I had was that we were leaving the west and entering the east, the most western of splendid bridges over the Danube, which is here of noble width and depth, took us among the traditions of Turkish rule. So yeah, of course, that is a journal entry. It looks like it is from John Harker or whatever his name is. But yeah, this is certainly a very interesting opening paragraph, and I cannot wait to read Dracula and review it for all of you. Okay, so the fifth and final book I have chosen is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, and weird cover aside, I had to skip through a lot of introduction stuff to actually get to the book itself, but the first paragraph goes as follows. St. Petersburg, December 11th, 17. You will rejoice to hear that no disaster has accompanied the commencement of an enterprise which you have regarded with such evil forebodings. I've arrived here yesterday, and my first task is to assure my dear sister of my welfare and increasing confidence in the success of my undertaking. So yeah, it looks like that was a letter written to someone by someone else. I don't quite know what that has to do with anything, but since it's only the first paragraph, I'm not expecting to know a lot of things about it. But anyway, so yeah, that was the opening paragraph from Frankenstein. Again, I get that that's a weird cover. I don't understand it myself. But yeah, so I've been wanting to read Frankenstein for quite a while because, as you can tell by this bookshelf right here, I am a bit of a horror fan. And so Frankenstein was like one of the earliest horror novels ever written, at least from what I imagine. And so, yeah, it would be so cool to just read like one of the first like horror novels and stuff. But yeah, so I will definitely put this onto the reading list, and yeah. So yeah, that concludes the book part of this video. But now I need to get into the other part of this video, which is kind of saying which one will I put on my next TBR. Well, I mean, this is going to be kind of weird, but I already have basically all of them on my TBR. In fact, every book you see on my bookshelf that hasn't been read is on my TBR. And in fact, some of them that I've already read are on my TBR. So yeah, I can't really choose one in particular, I guess. If I had to choose, The Invisible Man seems to be the most interesting, perhaps. But yeah, I just seem to like all of them, and I can't wait to read all of them. Alright, and before I end this video, I'm supposed to tag some other booktubers who could do this challenge. And I don't really want to like tag any booktuber specifically or any select number of booktubers. So I'm just going to go ahead and tag anyone who wants to do this challenge. Again, I was tagged by Jessica from Just Book Girl TV. So once again, thank you, Jessica. And this challenge was originally made by Ali Risdale. So big thank you to her as well for making this challenge. But yeah, so I am tagging anyone who wants to do this challenge. But yeah, so that is about it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed this very odd video that I am not used to making. But yeah, let me know what your book picks are and how excited you are to read them. But anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. I've been Mr. BG from BG's Books, and see you later.